Parents' involvement in children's education. Parents' involvement in children's education. This is something that's becoming more and more a scarcity. More and more a scarcity. Meaning parents are less and less involved with children's education. Okay? Parents slowly are becoming more absent from the field, from the area of children's education. How so? Because everything now is done through another technological device, right? So the entertainment is done by the TV or the tablets, through the various YouTube channels. The education that's done in school is done by the teachers, and then rarely is a parent very keenly aware of everything that's been taught and revised at home. The evening madrasa and the Islamic education is done by a maktab or a teacher or ustad, whoever comes or whoever they go to. The parent is very, absent for the most people in the education, tarbiyah, upbringing of the children. Am I right? I think so. I think so. This is a problem in our society. Now, this, of course, we can say is a good solution to busy lifestyles of people. People are busy. People have work. People have things to do. It's true. It is a good alternative to facilitate for working people, working parents, and etc. However, it is not a good solution to proper upbringing of children. Proper upbringing of children, where a parent is directly involved with his or her child's growth, its adab and akhlaq, the child's learning of academic education, Islamic education, the kind of mentality, mindset that's been built into the child. This is something that's originally the responsibility of no one else except for who? The parent. Right? So if something goes wrong, ultimately the blame would be for the parents, and if something goes right also, ultimately the reward would be also for the parents. That's how we see it. And so if someone is able to bring up children in a correct way, they become pious, they become devout, and they make dua for them, then this becomes sadaqah jariyah for you. But if you leave behind children who don't become pious, and you have a blame in that, meaning you were negligent, you did not do your part, then you could be punished and brought to justice for that in the course of Allah also. So ultimately, all of these measures that will bring into place, for example, you pay the fees of a maktab, you pay the fees of a school, you take them to school, just taking them and bringing them back, it's good, it's what's happening. However, we have also a responsibility to be actually directly involved. What have you learned? What do you think? What do you know about Iman? How is your understanding of Islam, of Iman, of Aqidah, and etc.? I need to, as a parent, make sure that myself, me as a dad, as a mum, it's my job to make sure that my child understands who's Allah, who is the Rasul, what are the pillars of our faith, what are the articles of our faith, what is a must-do for a Muslim, how to live as a Muslim, what does it mean to have good morals, ethics, adab, akhlaq, understanding of the deen, a good character as taught by the Prophet ﷺ. This is whose job? Ultimately, the parents. So I asked myself the question first, and to all of us here, and perhaps you can ask the question to your spouses and to other friends and families. Ask yourself this question: how involved are you in your child's upbringing? The answer will be very, very, in most cases, very unpleasant. And this is extremely dangerous. These are your children. These are your offspring, the blood of your blood, flesh of your flesh. This is you. Your continuation in this world is through your children. And if they are now, today, not being educated and given the right kind of tarbiyah, and tomorrow they turn to fisq and fujur and kufr and shirk and atheism, it will be no one's loss as much as it is mine. And so my strong advice is that we ask ourselves this question: do muhasabah of yourself. How involved am I in my child's education? How much do I know? What does he or she watch for those hours that they are watching TV? What is the content? What's the message behind it? Okay, they watch Paw Patrol, okay, or they watch Pocoyo, or they watch Ben 10, or anything else. But what's the message? Or they watch Horrid Henry. But what's the message? What are they learning? Are they learning a good message that be kind to your parents, obey your parents, be good to people? Or are they learning to be rude and abrupt and disregard and disrespect parents and neighbors and not care about people and society? We need to know what the message is. Because ultimately that's what they're taking. That's what the overarching message behind the entire 15 episodes or the 20 hours is. We need to know this. This is not a joke. I'm not just saying this as a topic because I just want to talk about it. This is serious stuff. Because we don't want to be like the story of the Pied Piper. You know the Pied Piper story? You know the story of the Pied Piper? Pied Piper story is a very known story in English literature. Is that there was a city and it was infested with rats. Am I saying it right? Yeah? Infested with rats. Too many rats in the city. So they bring a man to clear out the rats. And he's got a pipe. He's got a flute. He plays the flute and the rats, they follow the man out of the city. Then he said, give my money. He says, give my money. My service is done, what do you want? Give my money. They say, we're not going to give you any money. Job is done. Then what does he do? He starts to play the pipe for the children. And then what is it? He takes all the children out of their homes and out of their cities too. Meaning, what I'm trying to say is, let's not be like those parents who leave their kids in front of the TV, the tablet, the phone for entertainment, but then while they're enjoying, their mind is being changed. Their faith is being changed. Their ethics and understanding, adab and morals are being changed for the worse. So to know what's the entertainment, we've spoken about this about 2 or 3 years ago as well, but I'm reminding once again. To know exactly what's being taught in school is my responsibility as a parent anyway, but especially so, more so because I'm a Muslim. And my understanding of life and aqidah and akhirah may not be in accordance to perhaps all of the education provided in school. I'm not saying it's bad education. There's most and vast majority of it. And forget the education, maybe something in the playground, from another child, from another bully, from another person, from a substitute teacher, from a side comment from a teacher. To keep this tract, to know that my child is being taught this in the school. This is what they're bringing back. But you know what the reality is, my brothers? The reality is that I'm saying all of this, but 99% of the time, we ourselves will go to school like this, and like, school session or the school finished, grab his hand and then get on the phone, look at the latest Facebook updates and Instagram updates, and just walk like that, like a robot. Go home, Ashiqur, I've come home, take the children, feed them in front of the TV. And then homework, if there is any, God knows when that's going to be. No care. I don't mean to diss us, but yes, sometimes through dissing us, we understand where we're going wrong. My brothers, my sisters, we need to be seriously taking this on board, that we need to be involved in our children's education. What are they learning in school? The evening maktab guy, mashallah, he's got 25 students to a class. This is not his fault. You know what? You're paying a very cheap fee, £5, £10, £20, whatever you're paying. He's got 25 kids in front of him. The ustad is trying his best perhaps. And I hope so, and inshallah most cases they are. But it's still ultimately my job. I've given the tawqeed and the responsibility of educating my child to this teacher, but I am still ultimately responsible, right? So I need to make sure that the du'as and the surahs that he's learning is up to standard. This is my job as a parent. Son, what have you learned? What Surah Fatiha? Let me hear it. My daughter, what have you learned? Surah An-Nas. Let me hear it. Let's read it together. Am I saying something strange, or is this making sense? This is a reality. This is, my brothers, Allah has blessed us. Children are a blessing, right? With every blessing there is responsibility. With every blessing there is responsibility. Allah gives you a blessing of money, there's responsibility of giving zakat and sadaqah. Allah gives you children, there's responsibility of educating them, giving them tarbiyah, bringing them up properly, to be good people, to be good Muslims, to be good contributors to society, to the country, to humanity. So be involved. Be involved in your children's education. And not just children, even if they are growing up in their teens. What are they learning? Who do they hang around with? Who are their friends? Because this is a source of their upbringing as well, or their education, the influence that they have. Once a friend of mine was telling me in Egypt that, his dad one day said to him, Dad, son, I want to treat all of your friends. I want to give them dawah. Bring them to my house. I want to treat them all. So he said, this is really nice of Dad. He's going to, instead of me spending money on them, he's going to treat them. So when they came to the house, he realized that his father wasn't too busy looking at the food. He was more busy looking at each of their faces, understanding whose son is that. What does he do? Where does he hang around? Which school does he go to? He was actually studying his friend circle. But this is also important, to know who your children's friends are. And the way to do this in today's society is what? Social media. So with pain I say that if your child has Instagram, you need to also have it. To understand how it works, to keep in, to be friends with your child, right? If they have Snapchat, then you should also know how this stuff works. So the child's upbringing, education is something that's a responsibility upon the parent. And we need to ensure that it's carried out properly. Ultimately, I am the manager. You are the head teacher of every parent is the ultimate head teacher of every single child. Yes, there are head teachers in secondary school, even in maktab and madrasa, but you are the ultimate overall head teacher for everything. For adab, akhlaq, for morals, for iman, for all of that stuff. And with that I say, with this introduction I say, that from September 2020, as you know, the implementation of the RSE has been actively done. Even though the government has allowed for schools to take one more year for consultation until 2021, right, because of the coronavirus, the consultation to understand what the parents' opinion is about the issue, right, or how it should be delivered, because it was barred and hindered by the coronavirus outbreak. It has been technically allowed that you may, or it will now become mandatory from 2021. Nonetheless, most schools, also in Tower Hamlets, except for some, they've decided to rigorously and proactively implement the RSE. And look, RSE is good. By and large, I would say 99%, 95% of RSE is beautiful, it's so good. It's good. It teaches about internet safety, about friendships, about family, about how to get along in society, how to be safe online. Good stuff. But there are one or two issues that are problematic from a faith perspective. And those are the things that where you need, every single parent needs to be aware of this. What are the issues that are problematic in this relationship education aspect that's problematic for my faith? A good way to do this is to refer to websites or places where there is a good amount of information about this. Like for example, Tower Hamlets Parents Association is a good website. And I think MCB has also produced some sort of guidance or some sort of information about it. I've also spoken about it before in one of my sermons. The problems with from the problems is, there's an aspect of it called naming of the private body parts. Okay? Naming of the private body parts. It's not per se mandatory from year one. But there is an importance of, from the overall guidance of the government, that the children should be able to report and express clearly if there is a case of child abuse. Naming of the body parts is a problematic thing for us from a faith perspective, and it can be, there is room and leeway for it to be delivered in a faith respective way. The details can be known. My point here today is that you need to be involved. You need to speak to your parent governor and to your head teacher, your teacher of your children, the teacher of your children, to find out how are you delivering this? How is the subject being taught? What are you covering? What's the syllabus? I'm not going to go into the details because the details are extensive, and that you can find out from the teachers of your children, from the head teachers. But the point that I'm trying to raise from the entire discussion is that you need to be involved. You need to know what's happening. You can't just be on silent mode and autopilot mode and just let it happen, and whatever happens, happens. It's not going to work like that. Okay, and your responsibility is not carried out like that. Inshallah. Okay, the salat time is coming in, and because of the rain, I think it's not good to make people wait as well. So inshallah, if you can, the brothers will go around for donations. If you can donate whatever you can for the masjid. Card payments, cash payments, we're relying upon your donations, of course, primarily and wholly for the running of the masjid. For that reason, inshallah, give as much as you can for a lot of people.